Water fasting versus dry fasting. Into the soft and hard are the three main levels of fasting intensity without food. Each one of these practices is the representation of different degrees of intensity of destruction of the mind, body, and spirit from assuming the state of the fast by the four elements of life: fire, wind, water, and earth. As each element is necessary to sustain life, when we choose to give one or more of them up, we initiate the process of destruction upon the self. In the case of fasting, we choose to sacrifice food and we initiate a water fast that continues through the self-eating of the system until we may reach high levels of transcendental consciousness. In other cases, we choose to surrender food and water, which initiates an even faster destruction of the system, and there is a high level of consciousness reached in a shorter period of time. Then we choose to surrender totally everything, all that we are, as we initiate the suffering of the hard dry. Each level presents a higher and higher intensity of destruction upon the system. In the water fast, we have sacrificed the earth and the system responds. In the soft dry, we no longer drink water as the body upregulates all of its survival functions and the consciousness expands greater than before. Then in the hard dry, we surrender food as well as all internal and external contact with water. The aggression of those fasting methods is represented by their levels of intensity as it relates to each individual person. As regular fasts are practiced, the system naturally adapts to the stresses presented there until the system evolves into a healthier organism. The increasing health of the individual during the fast by destructive means is evidence of the body's adaptation. Health is a mere byproduct of these stress stimuli. These short-term stresses on the body are temporary states of death in which the consciousness through the body upregulates all of the other body processes in an effort to sustain life. The consciousness expands, which expands its power within the body and ability to activate certain built-in functions within the system. The water fast is capable of breaking down nearly all diseases, illnesses, and damage present within the human body. The body's primary way of elimination is by using water to flush toxins from the system. There are a great amount of stem cells released into the blood that act as new healthy baby cells to replace the cells that are broken and damaged. High levels of consciousness are also capable of being reached in this fast. Usually, a span of many weeks is necessary to achieve a state of high enlightenment. Also, the prerequisites remain the same, with most fat matter containing toxicity being consumed, as well as a body that is flexible and light. Fatigue, dizziness, and lightheadedness must all have been relinquished. Then one enters the fifth-dimensional experience of bliss. There are momentary occurrences in which the water fast is capable of falling into a dry fast during sleep overnight, and longer, deeper water fasts of bodies that have reached near enlightenment. Usually, when one has exhausted most of their fat reserves and the body fat percentage has reached underweight. Less body fat means less storage of water, which produces the most beneficial healings during sleep. During a water fast, a white coating develops on the tongue that serves a multi-purpose. In one instance, it serves as a way of expelling toxins from the body. In another, the restoration of the tongue itself, as the taste buds are restored to optimal levels. Water fasting is capable of clearing the blockages of the energetic centers and promoting healing that leads to miraculous manifestations in reality. The reality changes are not as aggressive as the dry fast, but nevertheless do lead to miraculous results. The body becomes more sensitive and the feelings also are more sensitive. If the desire is to experience heightened levels of consciousness, then only water should be consumed and nothing else. For all other things slows down the natural process of evolving consciousness. The dry fast is a few times stronger than the water fast. There are some noticeable differences compared to water fasting. For one, ketosis is reached much faster in a dry fast than in a water fast. However, fasting for 3 days minimum is still necessary to reach any sort of long-term gain in fat loss. In a dry fast, eventually, there is a presence of this internal heat that is largely missing in a water fast. The metabolism is still very much active in a water fast. Just to much lower degrees can often leave the faster feeling cold because of the loss of energy being experienced in the fast. This is not the case in the dry fast. The soft dry fast will cause a heating up of the body. This is evidence that the metabolism is more active and operating at a much higher degree. That leads to higher degrees of temperature, in turn leading to higher degrees of fat and toxic consumption. This is especially true during a detox crisis, where the metabolism will increase to a maximum and the internal heat increases. As you burn through these toxic matter and substances, as well as most of the fat matter on your body, and have become generally healthy while in a soft dry fast. You can have periods of feeling cold as you do in a water fast. If you move around a lot, then the body heats up as it burns more energy, and then you have periods of feeling hotter. In the soft dry fast, some 60 to 80% of the experience of water has been eliminated. This means you can have showers, wash your hands, and have contact with water. In a soft dry fast, there is a common belief that the skin gains a greater ability to absorb water through the skin. I believe this is true to a certain degree, and only that the skin is hydrated and it doesn't move beyond that. But what tends to happen is that external contact with water provides relief by the body in cooling its engine, so to speak, in maintaining better water levels in a dry fast. In a hard dry fast, there will be no periods of feeling cold. It is hot the entire way through as the metabolism burns to its highest degree the entire time. This is like a car running on nitro boost the whole way. The tongue can be the driest and have a thicker white coating than all other fasts. This will be the most difficult fast. However, this is the most rewarding fast after it is completed. There is the greatest rejuvenation experience that can be likened to truly being born again. A rebirth of sorts where the strongest addictions have been cleansed from the mind, body, and spirit. There is also a greater weight loss experienced and a much more aggressive consumption of fat matter. The energies and frequencies are cleansed and more pure than in any other type of fast. In this fast, 80 to 90% of the experience of water has been eliminated, and the faster will live at the lowest possible levels of water synthesized by the body that are supplied only to the vital life force. Because of this, there is a greater insistence upon the cells of the body to change their functions and become little tiny furnaces and burn their waste from the inside, and all other entities within the faster that are incapable of performing this change in function perish. This is the echelon of fasting and the tip of the human capabilities in short-term stress for beneficial responses. In this fast, the destruction is great enough that causes the most aggressive beneficial responses by the body. The mind will experience the most aggressive cleansing. Addictions are crucified. The light body vibrates the strongest. The thirst is at an all-time high, as any liquid capable of consumption will look very pleasing and good to drink. After a 7-day hard dry fast, the mere contact of water can send the faster into ecstasy. This is because the faster was living in a high state of heat the entire way through. This fast allows the faster to become the most sensitive, and the smallest things become the greatest experiences to the faster. In this fast, one realizes how blessed they are to have water. One realizes the difference between a soft dry fast and a hard dry fast. For the differences seem so small to the uninformed, but to the faster they are as different from each other as water fasting is from dry fasting. At some point during this fast, it is possible to experience a very strong separation of the self. Parts of the mind may begin to separate itself from the whole mind. This is the part of the mind composed of unhealthy entities that are affected the most. The skin may seem to take on a mind of its own as it cries out from the absence of water. And when water is poured over the body for the first time, there is a strong reaction. The heart may beat stronger and breathing intensified, as if there is a release and experience of orgasm. The water orgasm relief as the faster blesses and gives thanks for this water. Where has it been? And this type of fast is able to release all of his emotions as the ego and body is humbled to the greatest degree. Ultimately, the way fasting works is by the progression of releasing energy by the consumption of fat matter and toxicity in the body, allowing for the system to become lighter and more flexible. There are no rules to any of this. The body simply learns whatever you teach it or practice. Fasting can be slowed down or sped up by increasing or decreasing water intake. The body doesn't operate on absolutes, but but it is a binary machine that adjusts to the environment between two extreme points. The less water you drink, the more aggressive the fast becomes. The more you eliminate our essential needs to survive, the more aggressive the cleansing. 51% of the experience of water puts the body into a strong water fast and vice versa. 49% of the experience of water puts it into the softest dry fast. And as water increase or decrease, the fast increase or decreases its speed of aggression. The dry fast and water fast are two modes of fasting upon which all other modes of fasting are modified and adjusted. All other subfasting types are derived from these two main categories of fasting. The water fast offers the ability to heal from most diseases and illnesses as it reaches high states of spiritual transcendence in a total fast. Relinquish the fat matter and negative emotions within you to rise above. The dry fast will see you go beyond what was possible with 3 times the power of a water fast. Reality shifts on its heel as the God within commands it to do so, and the demonic entities flee from the faster as he becomes enlightened by the blessing of life. God is within, with the power to change all that there is. Be well and surrender to the blessings within.